Alright, hey guys, today we're going to be going over a Miller machine, a Miller MIG welder. It's kind of not like a raw video. I don't really have like a list of things to go over, so we're going to go over pretty much everything you need to know about these things. Pretty much all the welds are the same. They'll have the same. They might not have like the same buttons, but they'll do the same thing. So they're all pretty similar. Hey. So it's kind of jarring. So here we have the ground clamp, or the work clamp, as some people call it. For most MIG welding, probably 90%, your ground clamp is going to go into your positive, and your MIG torch gun is going to go into the positive. That way you're welding on electropositive. I think pretty much only the self-shielded flux core and a few others are run opposite, so you'd run it on negative instead of positive. But most MIG welding is done on positive. So your gun goes into your positive, and your ground clamp goes into your negative. That's pretty common. Up here you have your on and off switch. And when it's plugged in, your volts will show up. That's how you control your volts, with the V. And then, so your remote and your panel, that's pretty much, if you have like an extra box, that's going to show you how. If you only had this big box, you'd have it on panel, because that'd be this panel. But since we have this upper box with the wire feed on it, it'd be under remote. Same with that. Here we have a typical, MIG torch. It's got a trigger. When it's turned on and everything's ready to go, when you hit the trigger, the gas starts flowing and your wire comes out. I'll probably have another video of one of these broken down, just to show you all the pieces, like your contact tip and your nozzle and your gas diffuser. And here, where the wire spool comes out of, right now this is 035 MIG wire. We have these like little rollers that the wire goes through. This is what actually moves the wire along the torch. So you can see it has like little grooves. I don't know how well you can see that, it's probably not very good, but most of these will have like an 035 and an 045 side, so that you don't have to have a bunch of different rollers for different wires, because the 035 and 045 are probably the most common, so you can switch between those with just these rollers. Here you have a tensioner. Really, you set that by turning on your MIG gun, and if you can stop the wire, then you need to have a little bit more tension. You want to just barely not be able to stop the wire running. On this machine, when it's turned on, instead of changing your voltage here, you change it up here on this panel. So you set your voltage and your wire speed, and then right here, it's like if you have that up or on, when you hit the trigger and it strikes an arc, the wire will just continuously feed, so that you can let go of the trigger. That's mostly used for like longer welds, or out of position where you might slip off the trigger, but you need to keep going. We'll probably always have that off. And then jog and purge. So when it's hooked up to gas, if you purge, you can hit the purge button to start the gas flow, just to check your flow rate and everything, so you don't have to hold down the trigger and waste wire. And jog, when we change out wire spools, you can hit jog and it'll spool the wire through here at a faster rate, and you won't waste gas. Those are pretty handy. Here you can see this green hose. That's for gases. Here at this school, we only pretty much use 100% CO2 if we're short circuiting. If we go into spray, which we probably will, use a 98 2, so 98% argon, 2% oxygen, just makes it hotter. The plug. So that's pretty much everything with this machine. I'll probably pull off this side panel and blow it out and show you guys how to like maintenance them. They're pretty simple. We pretty much have all the same. There's a few oddballs around here. Like this one is a Lincoln 3-process welder. If you guys ever work on that one, I'll go into depth on that one a little bit more. A few older Millers. They're just as good. They're just a little bit old. Pretty much the same setup, just not on top of each other. It's the same buttons: seal, jog, purge. This one has a little bit more settings with it. You can do a little bit more. We do have one push-pull gun set up for aluminum welding, which I need to get up and running. So like, this is a push-pull gun. So instead of having drivers in the back of it, see, it's got little drivers inside there. That's better for aluminum, so that it doesn't kink up back there. If it ever bird nests, it's going to bird nest in the gun. It's a little bit better since the aluminum wire is a lot more flexible. It's more prone to bending, kinking, something like that. That's pretty much all I have for this video. Kind of boring. Next week we'll get into, I'll get into welding with it, and I'll set up on this big table. Yeah, we might stick to MIG welding for a little bit longer than the 2 weeks I was going to, just to give you guys a good enough basis. Start off with flat, then horizontal, then vertical out, yeah. Get into overhead a little bit maybe. Get you guys a little bit more familiar with it. That way, if you guys don't get to come in, you'll at least hopefully know something. Yeah. All right.